Welcome to Garden Cafe. I'm Maureen, and this is my Texas Zone 8B 9A garden. I am a bit soaking wet because my husband and I just examined all of the sprinkler heads throughout the yard to see which ones need repaired or turned or what. I'll include some of the video and fast forward. Very important to do this time of year before everything really starts growing, so you know exactly how well all of the sprinkler heads are performing. So for today, I'm going on to the next step in Amaryllis year-round. Just a reminder, and there are videos earlier, my sister and I got this idea for year-round Amaryllis. We love the wax Amaryllis, around Christmas time. So she planted hers out from not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. The first week of December, we did it late because, well, we really weren't thinking about it. And then we came up with this idea this year. So we harvested all of her Amaryllis throughout her yard, pulled up the bulbs, put them in a cool, dry location in her closet for 2 months. I know, it's kind of a surprise. Then we waxed half of them and we planted the other half with really great success. So this year, now that we're at this stage, and some of these I did get at Christmas, some we grew from when we planted them in February. So anyway, all of these are going to go out, and I have more in the house. Some that are still blooming. I mean, we just waxed those 2 months ago, and they're gorgeous blooms right now, and I'll post photos here. But these are going to go out into the yard. They are not going to flower over the summer. They're just going to be green leaves, which is perfectly fine with me. Next September, first week of September, I'm going to pull them up, dry them for 2 months. Then the first week of November, I'm going to wax half of them, and I'll probably plant the other half. And for the wax ones, I'm going to send as gifts to my family that should be blooming just in time for Christmas. Full year of Amaryllis. So it should be fun. All of this is just going to be planted out. So I'll show you what my plans are. So I'm thinking about planting the Amaryllis back in this section. For the moment, I have just dozens of clerodendron that are coming back up from last year. Gorgeous flowers, beautiful plants. But this zone here, the second the sun comes over the house and touches those leaves, the entire plant faints and seriously looks like it's dying. So that's pretty much most of the day. And then the next morning it looks beautiful again. And then the sun hits it and it looks like it's dying. Not a good place for clerodendron. Now I dug up several of these and I moved them down into my shade garden. And I show where I moved those in an earlier video. I'm going to dig up a few more and plant them in the other shade garden on the other side of my house. The rest I'm really not that worried about. So I'm thinking I'm just going to give this over to the Amaryllis. And I know I will have to keep up with these clerodendron as they start popping up. But that's my plan. So step one, I'm going to dig up 2 or 3, move them to the other side of the yard, and then I'll start planting the Amaryllis. Last year, I tried to move some of these clerodendron and they died. However, what I've learned is you need to really dig around to get as much of the root as possible. Now, all of these clerodendron, they have one root growing underground, and then a plant pops up out of the root, and then that root continues on, and another one pops up, and another one pops up. So there's no like traditional root ball, but where the root travels under the ground and where the clerodendron grows up, immediately under where that clerodendron is coming up is a bunch of roots, a series of roots underneath. Those are the ones you want. You have to cut that, I'm going to say taproot, just because I can't think of the word for it, on one side and the other. But what you want is that mass of roots that are growing underneath that. So I only need 2 of these, I think. Over on the other side, I'm going to cut some of these back just because I don't want them competing with the Amaryllis. But for now, I'm just going to dig up 2. I'm going to put them in these pots for the moment. They'll go over there today or tomorrow, and hopefully it works. Well, a few days have passed. I just couldn't bring myself to rip up all these clerodendron. I didn't want them all to die that terrible way. So I posted on my neighborhood Facebook page, is anyone interested in coming and getting some clerodendron? And we had quite a few people come through and dig it up. So now I feel better. And we can go ahead with our Amaryllis experiment. So these are just the waxed Amaryllis I bought at Christmas, which I usually do for gifts. It's such a wonderful present. It needs no watering, needs nothing special. You just put it on a shelf anywhere, and it grows and it blooms and it's beautiful. This, again, is the first year my sister and I decided we're going to take this through the full cycle, where we plant out our Amaryllis bulbs, harvest them the first week of September, let them dry until the first week of November, and I'll do follow-up videos in September and then November on how all of this is done. But we ran an experiment just to see if we could actually do it. We harvested my sister's Amaryllis the first week of December, dried them, and then the first week of February we waxed our own, and I'll post a photo here of how they came out. They're definitely not flat. I mean, there's some things we need to play with, but it was kind of fun waxing them and decorating them. And then we also planted some, and they grew and they're gorgeous, and some are still blooming inside. So the ones that are ready to go are going to get planted out here literally for the purpose of harvesting in September. Never did this before, but apparently you're supposed to be able to just cut this wax off. The bulb is smaller inside, obviously, because so much of the energy went to grow the beautiful flowers that we had. And we had some rain out here, so some water did get in, which is probably not good for the bulb. I'm assuming sitting in water is not the best thing for it, but let's see. I mean, the leaves are still green, so I don't think it damaged it too much. Wow, this wax is a little tougher than I thought. And that bulb is smaller. I mean, it makes sense. The funny thing is, before you wax them, you have to soak them for 6 hours. You cut off the bottom, the complete bottom of it, which is so counterintuitive to me. Wax it, and then it has all the energy it needs to make those gorgeous flowers. Goodness. All right, I don't think this is the same wax we use. We just use paraffin wax, and there's a lot of water in here, but the bulb still feels firm, so that's good news. All right, need a hacksaw to get this off. I'm trying to get it off without touching the bulb inside. And the other thing that was surprising to me is if you cut off the bottom of the Amaryllis bulb, I just assumed, once it flowered, that'd be it. But apparently, these will reroot when planted. I'll get there. If I can just open it wide enough, I can slide it out. This is definitely not the wax we used. Must be some commercial grade. As I said, we purchased these. I usually do, so it's nothing new. Just doing it myself is what's going to be fun and new. Okay. It is wet. It is icky. Oh, look. It already has some roots started. And this one, well, maybe this is the roots, because literally we cut off the bottom. We followed the instructions. So maybe this is what roots it did. Look, it's flat. All right, so when you wax them, before you wax them, you soak them for 6 hours. And you literally hack off the bottom straight down and take that off so that it lays flat. But look at this. Roots have formed inside the wax. So this one is ready. It's wet and icky, but it is firm and it is ready to go. So that's one. Oof. This one was inside, so it won't have the water in it that the other one had. But these were purchased at exactly the same time. That one went to my son, and this one went to my daughter. And I just said, when it stops blooming after Christmas, let me have it back for my experiment. And this one actually grew roots too. So they look ready to go out. And I just wanted to show you, I just brought these out. We just had fun. These, we waxed them, we spray painted the wax, you tape, up the neck, obviously. And then we just decorated them. We just had fun. And obviously did them, since we did them in February, we wanted to do them in colors and designs that weren't specifically for Christmas. We'll get more Christmassy with the bulbs that we harvest in the fall. But I just wanted you to see this was a successful experiment. Roots, the bulbs pulled up in the first week of December, dried for 2 months, and then we waxed them first week of February. We also planted some, and I'll bring those out as well. But this one's already blooming, and this one is actually starting to grow. So a success. That's what I'm going for. So back to these. The waxed ones, I'm impressed with, to be honest with you. I think those will be fabulous. The ones that we planted, these have already bloomed, and we're back down to leaves. I'll go ahead and plant these. Paper whites. They were gorgeous. I'll probably do something different next year as far as put an amaryllis bulb in the center and then put the paper whites around the outside. But I really did love them. I thought they were gorgeous. So they're going to get planted along with the amaryllis, and I'll mark them. And then just a few more amaryllis. And this one's actually, it had bloomed and it was done, but it is starting to grow again. And it looks like more than leaves, but I am going to plant this out as well. So that's the next step, is getting everything out. And I just got another few messages that neighbors want more clerodendrons. So I think this area I have open right now is more than enough space for my amaryllis. Move the clerodendron tag, but I'll leave the rest of them. They're not bothering me for people who want to come and get them. Again, they're just very unhappy in this area. It is just, as you can see, the sun's coming over the house. It's just too much sun for them. So plenty of space, I think, for the few, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like about 10 amaryllis. I think I have more than enough space right here. So I'll just put them where I want them to go. Okay, so where I plant these, I'm going to mix in composted soil. I'm just going to put in some at the bottom of the holes, and I'm not burying these deep. They need to have the neck stay above the soil level. And a little flower tone thrown in. And again, these do not have to be very deep holes at all. There's 2 of these. A little compost. Let me put in a little compost. Said compost, and I was going for the flower tone fertilizer. Time release. That'll be nice. I don't expect flowers from these at all. Usually in the summer, at least with my sister's amaryllis last year, these grew primarily leaves, and that's it. She gets a flower once in a while. Holy cow, look at that. I wonder if I can separate these. Yeah, looks like they'll come apart. Okay, the holes are going to have to be bigger than I thought. Look at that. Yep, much bigger. Okay. All right. Let's see if that one's going to be big enough. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Okay, start over again. A little compost, a little fertilizer, mix it in, and again, we don't want him, her, whatever, to go above this neck. You kind of want the bulb to be about halfway in the soil and half out. About there. That looks good. Okay, that is one. And let's get this one. Wow, in comparison, the waxed bulbs are going to need much smaller holes. They obviously do not have this insane root structure. Okay, I think we'll be good there. Let's see. No, a little bit deeper. Wow, the soil is so moist. We have had rain lately, which is unusual for us, but I'm surprised to see this much moisture in here. It's almost mud. Okay, let's get this guy in. It's a monster. Okay. All right, that's two. Let's see. Big rocks. All right. Let's get this little one in. After this last one, I'm going to assume the root structure on this is fairly significant. Well, he didn't want to come out. Let's see. Oh, no, not at all. Look at that. And it's got a little baby attached. Woohoo! Okay, just tearing off that dead leaf. This one's a little guy. Seriously, mud here, people. Lots of mud. All right. Should be okay. Central Texas in my area is a very dry climate, so I'm sure this will dry up in no time at all. And I got my pretty pots back, so I have to think about what to put in them inside the house. All right, the rest I'm going to put on fast forward. I'm basically going to do the same thing for all of it. Okay, that's it for the Amaryllis, at least for these. I have some still flowering in the house, as I said. And as people come to get more chlorodendran, I'll end up with more space. Some of the Amaryllis are pretty small. Some of the paper whites are pretty large, so I am definitely going to get tags out here to remind myself that these are the paper whites and those are the amaryllis. I'm sure you could tell by the leaves, but I don't want to take any chances. That's it for amaryllis today. These will go back inside. This one's just starting. This one is probably a couple weeks from getting planted out here. So those will go back into the house. And I have a few others that are growing in the soil in the house that also will be joining the others out here. If you liked my video, please hit subscribe, like, and share. It helps me grow my channel. Have a wonderful day.